Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Siriana Tarot. This is going to be a message for the collective for all signs for September 17th, 2020. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to invite spirit, angels, ancestors, loved ones who have passed, spirit guides, and ascended masters to this space to deliver the messages that we need to hear. September 17th, 2020. Ooh, messages for the collective, September 17th, 2020. Look at that. Ace of Voices or the Ace of Swords. Sun in reverse. The Chariot. Boom. And you get the Ace of Cups. Wow. So this reading is flanked by two aces. Whew. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look. We get the Muse of Inspiration. In this deck, this is the King of Wands. So yesterday, you guys, we were talking about, look at that, and justice. So karma working its way through your, working your way through your journey. Finding that balance, right? Yesterday that came out in with Electra, setting your boundaries, really sort of burning away sort of limitations, looking at new ways of progress and doing things to achieve what you want. And this King of Wands energy is this very sort of entrepreneurial energy. It's about really trusting yourself, really following your gut, following your passions, taking inspired action and being really successful. So for some of you guys, this is the energy that's leading to this Ace of Swords, a new beginning. Now remember that the Ace of Swords, though, this is about, receiving downloads, clear communication, connecting with source energy, your angels, your spirit guides, even loved ones who have passed, ancestor work. But the Ace of Swords does bring with it a little bit of conflict because it is all about, and I keep hearing soul retrieval, you guys, like really loud, but it's about, it's about cutting away something old so something new can emerge. And that can be really difficult. Okay. So if it's in a relationship, or maybe it's, it's leaving one thing for another. And I'm not talking about people necessarily here, but it's when you get a new tooth, when a tooth grows in or something like that, babies cry, right? Because it's painful, even though it's new. So just think of this Ace of Swords as a beautiful new beginning, but there are some growing pains while this eruption takes place, okay? But it's insight, it's communication, it's clarity, the clarity you've been looking for. We do have the Sun in reverse, and this is why I'm saying it might be a little bit bittersweet. The Sun in reverse is still absolutely beautiful energy because it's the happiest card in the deck, and even the reverse, it's not unhappy, but it is, again, what I was just talking about. This new beginning might have some sort of bitter sweetness to it. Okay. So whether it's, leaving a job, whether it's leaving a relationship, maybe some of you are moving, sometimes we focus so much on moving or leaving a situation or a person or a job that, when we finally get to that moment of making that change, we have that nostalgia kick in and we feel a little bit like, man, I'm going to miss this. I didn't think I would, but I'm going to miss this. So that's what I'm feeling here, that sort of bittersweet energy of starting something new and knowing that you're leaving a part of you or something behind. Going back to that, leaving a part of you behind. Some of you guys are doing soul retrieval or need to do soul retrieval work. Okay, so really coming back in alignment with yourself. Some of you guys I'm getting are picking up on leaving really tough relationships behind. They could be relationships from many years ago, but that still affect you, or it could be a relationship that you've just sort of, you've decided to call it, and you said, you know what, this no longer works for me. And I'm picking up for some of you, it was difficult. if not even abusive, or it really did a number on your self-esteem here with the Sun in reverse. And so this is about doing that work, calling in those parts of you that you've left behind so that you're really aligned with yourself. Okay, and we see that beautiful energy of the Chariot, but you successfully, boldly, swiftly moving forward. Okay, but we do have the Ace of Cups in reverse, and this is why for some of you this is about leaving a relationship that did a number on your self-esteem. Through all of this energy of moving forward, and many of you are watching your manifestations come to fruition, or your intentions, manifest in your lives, and it's beautiful, and you're excited, and you're like, yes, this is what I want, boom, 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 but you're going to feel this sense of exhaustion. Now, the Sun, this is that solar plexus energy, that's that Mars in retrograde, us going through this purge and detox with our solar plexus, okay, and the divine masculine. So you're going to see that even if you guys are dealing with these changes very well, that there might be a sense of emotional exhaustion, or feeling like, okay, you need to really take some time to refill, replenish your resources, your time, your energy, your love, and that's okay. We're in Virgo season. Virgo season is all about self-mastery. The archetype of the Virgo in the tarot is the Hermit card. So really maybe it's okay for you to sort of put that laser focus that we're gifted with at this time onto refilling this cup, because you've put your all into this, you guys. You really have. All right, let's go ahead and pull additional messages. I just get some of you guys, like, I just heard I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be out of that situation. And there are like things that I miss about it, but I'm happy to be alive. And just like, the image that I just saw was somebody like falling into their bed after a really long day, but a really super productive day, where they had a list of things to do and they checked them all off. And like, even though that they're really, really tired, mentally drained, emotionally drained, exhausted, they did what they needed to do. And so it's like this beautiful rest that's coming towards you. All right, and we get acceptance. I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. Yeah. Trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. And grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So I'm getting this big hit here with the grief from your sacral chakra. This definitely speaks to, for some of you, what I was picking up on earlier, an intimate relationship. And even when we come out of abusive relationships, or relationships that weren't for our highest good, whether they're romantic, they're at work, or what have you, we do learn from those. Okay, and there's a reason we were in that situation, for soul growth and for life lessons. And at one point in time, if this was a romantic relationship that sort of got nasty or ran its course, and maybe you guys stayed too long or what have you, it's going to be different for all of us. But I feel like there is this sense of grief, because there's a mourning period. There's good and bad to everything. Okay. And at one point in time, we loved this job, or we loved this person. And so we're sort of grieving that period. But, you're trusting that you are on your way. You're using your intuition, the Ace of Swords, your communications, you're being aligned. You are aligned with your higher self, with source energy, your angels. So you're being guided in this very successful direction. And you're also being guided into the very selfless act of taking care of yourself, refilling your cup. Okay, because you understood here that, there was something that you were really working on. I think there was a relationship that you guys tried to repair many, many years, okay, or many months, or many different times. Maybe you tried to sort of change things up at work so it would be better for you, whatever the situation is. Okay, and I think you finally accepted that it's run its course. Okay, and the King of Wands energy is, yeah, setting those boundaries, moving forwards with your passion, no longer staying in something that's disempowering for you. Bottom of the deck, Pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. Yeah. Okay. You know, I feel like this pride, again, comes from that image of this person checking off, you know, all of the things that they had on their to-do list, whether that's, you know, was for today, whether it was, you know, going to the grocery store, picking up the dry cleaning, you know, getting the kids from soccer practice, for those of you who have kids in soccer practice. And then, or it's something like, you know, some sort of self-mastery. You know, it can be mundane, or it can be in the esoteric, but you guys are checking off those boxes. And it feels good. It feels good. But it's also, there's that bittersweet energy I'm picking up on. Okay, and we get, look at that. This came out yesterday. Narrow pathway, tread thoughtfully. Yeah, I'm just being thoughtful in your communications. I mean, you guys are going where you need to go. But I also feel like, you know, you guys are on, you know, the narrow path. And this is funny. This is something interesting. I personally was working with my healer this past week. I do private sessions with a healer. And something we were working on was the narrow pathway. And as you guys ascend, as you become, well, anyway, you become more enlightened, however you want to put it, your pathway ends up getting a little bit more narrow. And this really speaks to people that you can be around, you know, because your threshold for, you know, for BS becomes smaller. Also, you know, when there's toxicity around you, whether that's, you know, in the news or in TV shows that you're watching, and I know I talk about this a lot, but it's about this narrow pathway. Like, your pathway becomes more narrow, what you're allowing into your life. And, you know, the more you ascend, the more sensitive you become to these energies. And so for me, for example, one of the things is like I my skin. And so it's like as far as like eating, you know, the foods that I eat, you know, low vibe foods, boom, trigger warning. You know, situations, places, people, you know, so a lot of that comes out. You know, I have some physical reactions to this, but what we were talking about is how the pathway has become narrow. And so you start to learn, you know, and the higher you go, okay, the more you work with this, you start to learn, you know, how to stay on this narrow path, because you start seeing, hearing, and feeling, you know, the warning signs. You know, and when somebody isn't enlightened or hasn't, you know, gone through an awakening, you can see that their pathway is quite wide. So they let, you know, and we've all been there. I've been there, where we let any and all types of energies into our lives. You know, we can eat any food that we want. Speaking of which, I have friends who are a little bit older, ladies who talked about their how their bodies reject meat the more meditation that they do. And I always thought that was interesting. I never quite understood it. Not to say that, you know, I'm not vegetarian by any means, but it's interesting because you know, just these past few weeks, I've been noticing how I want that less and less. It's like the more you meditate, the more, it's not just meditation, but the more work that you do, the more narrow your path becomes. And that's a good thing. Okay, and it's not about being accepting. It's not about, you know, it's not about judging others either, but it's really about listening to the signs and the signals that your body, and then the synchronicities that you're receiving, the messages from your angels and source energy and your spirit guides saying, you know, yes or no, yes or no. Okay, so it's beautiful energy there. Okay, and I think for a lot of you, you're noticing these little differences as well, you know, because you're doing the work. Okay, and then we get fellow travelers, support is all around you. Yeah. So again, this is your angels, this is your spirit guides, this is your soul tribe, this is me. This is, other people who are watching this video, that there's so much support around you. Right. And there's no coincidence. I talked about, friends of mine in this reading and my healer and the people that I work with. Because it's the importance of understanding that you're not alone on this journey. Bottom of the deck, begin now, take your first steps. Yeah, so if there's something here you've been wanting to change, or maybe even, I'm picking up on the importance of setting boundaries, letting people know, hey, if you cook with other people, for example, like, I don't want to I can't eat that anymore, okay? Or, I don't want to go to this fast food restaurant, it doesn't work for me. Or, I don't like, whatever. You're just becoming much more sensitive is what I'm picking up on. And you're stepping into that power of being able to really set those boundaries and listen to your body and the signs and synchronicities that you're receiving. All right. I hope I didn't babble on too much there. Final message. We get, look at that, the fallen star. Shame. I no longer hide my face. I step into my light with love. Yeah, I feel like many of you are coming out of sort of the spiritual closet. If you're, if you read tarot, or you do Reiki, or maybe even saying, like if you've made this choice to, maybe you're fasting, or maybe, you're not going to eat the way, your partner eats anymore, or whatever, because it just doesn't resonate with you. And I keep getting, for some of you, it might have to do with recreational drug use. I know some of you might not like that, but, maybe if it's like, maybe you're just coming, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, or I want to take different steps, on my path. So 38 breaks down to an 11. And this is Merapi. Merapi is the faintest star of the Pleiades star cluster. She's white and violet in color, but often not visible to the naked eye. Her name means face turned, referring to the myth surrounding her disappearance from the night sky. She is the crown chakra, and her crystal is the diamond. Merapi is deeply connected to her sea goddess mother, Pleione, and all sacred waters, the ocean, rivers, and lakes. Her sacred shrines were often water temples. In many of her myths, Merapi was a devoted mother to many children, both her own and adopted. She was a wise queen from a proud lineage of revered sovereigns and was dedicated to spiritual teachings and rituals. Merapi was the only sister to marry a mortal, King Sisyphus, known for his many crimes against the gods. It is said that she was so ashamed of her husband's crimes that she hid her face, causing the seventh star of the Pleiades to fade gradually from sight. However, other ancient historical texts describe Merapi and her mortal husband as a power couple with a shared vision of a utopic society. Together they strived and succeeded in building a thriving kingdom. Yeah, for some of you guys, I do have to go back to this relationship that some of you may have been leaving behind. And as you've put more distance between it, like you could feel like your shame growing. Like, I can't believe I used to do that. I can't believe I allowed that to happen. But I really want you to know, and Spirit wants me to tell you very clearly, don't be ashamed. It was a karmic lesson that you had to learn. Okay, so no shame. Okay, absolutely no shame. Her archetype is the priestess. So Merapi's divine attributes exemplify the priestess, medicine woman, and shaman archetypes. Her galactic gateway is the crown chakra that expands claircognizance, clear psychic knowing, and connection to higher realms of universal knowledge. In her priestess aspect, Merapi is committed to spiritual service, healing, and teaching. She's a voice and a leader of unity, transformation, and balance in the world. Some of you, I'm really picking up on an issue here of domestic violence. I know this is starting to get specific, but some of you have been through something that was really horrific, and it took great courage and strength to move away from it. And I feel like some of you guys are leading groups and helping others who are experiencing the same things. So for some of you, it might be, domestic violence. For others of you, it might be like addictions, whatever that might be, drugs, alcohol, porn, gambling, you name it. But it's something that previously you were ashamed of, and you're no longer, because you're realizing that you needed to go through that, because you now can help others as a result. Okay? In her priestess aspect, Merapi is committed to spiritual service, healing, and teaching. She's a voice and a leader of unity, transformation, and balance in the world. She is a devoted practitioner of spiritual enlightenment and growth. As a highly intuitive coach that inspires others by example, she's a woman that holds sacred space for divine ritual and soulful practice for collective evolution. As a teacher of love, Merapi personifies wisdom and harmonic consciousness. And love, it's teaching this self-love where others might have lost it or lost sight of that. You've been gifted this sight and the ability to teach others through what you guys have been through. And some of you guys, it's been really intense. So look at this. This card in particular, she has overcome humiliation and past hurts with sweet surrender, self-compassion, and forgiveness. She's risen once again as a warrioress. It's safe for you to come out of hiding. The seventh sister of the Pleiades encourages you to release the past with love and starlight for liberation. Break free. Stop beating yourself up. You have the gift of free will. Remember yesterday's reading, freedom came out for us. Know that everyone has done things they are not proud of. You are stronger, wiser, and enlightened because of the soul growth you have experienced. It's time to let it go and move forward. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, powerful stuff here, you guys. Really powerful stuff. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on this journey with me. You guys are my love. You guys are my light. I absolutely love sharing these messages with you, so thank you. Have a beautiful day. Take care.